Hey everyone, Corey here, coming in to do the energy update for um, December 2023. So, welcome into December. I am recording this on the 2nd. So, I've been trying to stay out of every bit of news. I drove um, 4 hours, 4.5 hours yesterday with absolutely no radio, no noise, no nothing in my vehicle, just in absolute silence, in absolute mindfulness to be mindful of my journey, of the travels, of the communication, of the connections, and um, and I can tell you the energy really truly feels like it has so much power, and there's so many things that are influencing us on a collective on a collective human energy connection right now that just says it is so easy to get lost. It is so easy to get caught to get caught up in the world. The world has much happening. We are a part of the world. We are not the world. Um, or I can say the world is a part of us, but we are the world, and the world doesn't get to. Um, the world's energy, the collective energy, doesn't always get to define how we believe, how we think, what we do, and I feel like we've kind of, as a human, in the human world, we have really truly been desensitized in a lot of areas. So it's easy for us to just go about our day, go about our lives. It's so easy to easy and not easy. And so it's that energy. So it's so easy to be desensitized, and being somebody who can feel, see, hear, smell, out, all of the clears of everything that is happening, is that um, we can spend our lifetime trying to escape feeling, but it is what makes us so special as a human race, is that we get to feel. We get to feel the world. We get to feel our feelings. But the world has been telling us, for so long, that we should numb those feelings so that we can exist. Well, my work is about more than existing. My work is about learning how to that we can feel, and that we can allow ourselves to walk through our feelings, and not to escape having to exist in our own experiences, not to avoid experiences, not to be like we have this big umbrella parent over us, and we're being umbrella parented, and oh, you don't want to feel that, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. It's like, how do you learn if you don't get the opportunity to be? It is like when we have to learn how to cook. You could spend a lifetime being told, oh, you should never touch the stove. The stove is dangerous. It's hot. Because it's hot, you shouldn't touch it. Don't ever touch the stove. Instead of teaching how to work with the heat. And that's kind of how the energy of the divine, or the divine collective, of the greater consciousness, of the greater wisdom, is trying to tell us. It is trying to say, let us teach you how to work this this with these elements, and with this energy, and with these emotions that you are existing in, so that you learn how to work with it, and not run from it. And so December is about that kind of energy. It is that energy that is existing. There is so much to transpire. There's so much for us to see. And I've been seeing this for weeks, and I don't like these predictions. I've been seeing this for weeks, that there being some big gathering, some big experience where we have to see that we can't unsee what we're seeing. And of course, we're seeing this throughout the world. We're seeing this in the East. We're seeing this, but I feel like we're going to see this in the West. So what we're, seeing something in the West that reminds us that not everyone has good intentions, and not everyone is looking after their people. And there's a lot of quotation marks around that. Like, they're like, this is coming from divine wisdom, that there's like, remember, you hear a lot of statements like, everyone is innately good. everyone is not innate. We're not only innately good, we also have the potential to be innately not great. And so where there is light, there is dark. Where there is, and so, what's happening in the East has an effect in the West. Harmony and balance is our journey. And to bring harmony is to make peace with the past, to make peace with where we have been. And as I bring this forward, I just keep saying, the world, we don't have a crystal ball. We have a crystal ball that shows us that, what can happen if we choose to make the right choices for the right reason. If we really truly look at the whole picture, if we look at where we are responding from. So if the past will always be highlighted, you'll always see the past. The past will always reveal itself to you. The past is in your memories, it's in your hurts, it's in your pains. Everything exists there. It is there to be our greatest teacher. It is there to teach us why we don't repeat things, why we don't do things the way that we do them. There's a lot of deep buried hurts and pains that never got resolved, that never got healed, that never get a story for. So you may have a lot of unresolved, issues, hurts, pains that you're never going to hear it from the source, what you need to hear or what you think you need to hear. You need to resolve this within yourself. So before we hit the new year, before we hit that big, production of the so-called of the new year stuff, it is very important to recognize you don't wait until the future comes to resolve what you need to resolve. This is where we need to resolve the past so that it stops influencing the future, and it requires us to be the change in our now. It is the month of where we need to stop in our tracks. We need to really, truly get real and get honest with ourselves. Is this serving our highest good? Is is living with secret bombs buried inside of us, does that serve us good? Is it waiting for an explosion of emotions? Is walking around with that resentment, that hate, is that serving the highest good? Absolutely not. Doesn't mean we become kumbaya friends with everybody. Absolutely not. It means that we start to recognize within ourselves that we need to resolve this, that it's time to start to have a resolution that we create within ourselves, that we gain clarity, and we gain a new perspective on who and what we need to be moving forward into that future, moving into that new space, that place within ourselves. It's, you can only sit self-absorbing and self-analyzing for so long. You can only spend so long in the healing process before you have to start to move to the healed. You can only sit so long as being a 2-year-old until you got to become 3-year-old, and then you become a 3-year-old. But if you only exist in the 2-year-old stories, you can't become 3, you can't become 33, because you'll always be 2. And if you only exist in the energy of life that happened at 2, or life that even happened at 30, and you're stuck there and now you're 50, is you're only going to ever be swimming in the cesspool of the murky energy. There will be a why to why you hold on to hate, to judgment, to the unhealthy stories. And if you only remember the people in your life the way that you thought they were, I see that often. I see that in, people that I don't see for a long period of time. They're like, oh, I remember you this way. But a lot of things evolve us and we grow. And when we're talking about memories and sharing stories, there's to share the experience, to share our memories of the experience, but to remember even the person who was in that experience at that time, they have evolved, they have grown, and they may not even be here on earth anymore. We grow through experience. We grow from learning how to have experiences. But if we're never allowed to have experiences, how do we grow? And so stepping out of comfort zones and moving forward is, a part of this journey. So it feels like it's a bit of it's a bit of um like revelations happening. I'm seeing revelations, and I'm seeing, all the book of Revelations as well. And I just feel like it's like when we have all these revelations and we have all of this sense of aha and awareness that's coming, we can have the aha and only stay in the aha and never take action towards the change. We have to be the change, and those elements of change are happening. And so what do we need? Love. Love is the main ingredient, but not the power, not the love of power, but the power of love, kindness, deep compassion, caring. We should care to know more. We should care to not to be, to learn how to do things, to stand on our feet, to heal the things that need to heal. And there's a bit of a real strong presence of grandmother energy in here. I'm feeling the essence of Saint Anne. I'm feeling the Magi. Really, truly feel the essence of the Magi. They always enter into my world and into my space as a channel around December the 2nd, December the 3rd. They always enter around that time, and they come in this powerful sense. And that's the wise ones, of course. They bring the gifts, they bring they bring the presence. And so there is a presence of something greater than us that's bringing us presence. And those presents are for us to those treasures are for us to open up to ourselves, to look in, but to no longer sit in the self-absorbed energy of pity, of doubt, of insecurities, but for us to grow now. As the adults of the world, these videos are not created for 2-year-olds. They're not created for 16-year-olds. They're created for adults. And so as an adult, the divine is speaking to the adult. Children are listening. Children are always listening. When we have an adult world that is still acting as from a place of immature, outdated energy, old resentments, making deals behind the doors and closets, and secretly sneaking around. That's no different than the little clusters and the little groups that are in high school, or or like littler years of life. And it's like, you want to be my friend? If you do this, you can be my friend. No, no, I don't want to be your friend. I'm going to stand out here, and I'm going to stand in my authenticity. I'm going to stand in my truth. And whoever's going to be my friend is going to come into my world. But we don't have to we don't have to make secret deals. We don't have to pretend. I don't have to exist in the past. I don't have to be any of this. If you want to be in my world, you want to be in my life, I'm going to be right here. But I'm going to be living in my truth. And so this is the time of where we start to, come into the self-actualization, that real essence of self-discovery, self-truth, and realizing that I can't spend forever, blaming the world or waiting for the world or whatever it is. It is time for me to move forward. It's time for that growth. And so it's like the animals that have existed in the winter, right? Animals that have to exist in the winter, they don't store up and then go hibernate. They have to exist in the hardest of climates. There's a pivotal point in our journey. It's like that last little sliver of the pie. When there's the last big piece of the pie, and then people come and they nibble away at it, but nobody wants to eat the last piece. And everyone says, oh, I'm so full. I don't want any more. I've had enough. But you keep going back and you keep chunking away at that last bit. But then there's the last little sliver left, and everyone leaves it because nobody wants to be this. Then nobody wants to be the shame story. Nobody wants to be the guilty one. Nobody wants to be the one to take that last piece. Well, that last piece is like taking that final blow, that final, the person who chooses to complete something, to go full circle, that you may not look like the good person. You may not come out the shining star of it. You may not be liked or loved by everyone, but you got to do this. And it could come at a cost, right? The pie is now going to be gone. The past is going to be gone. Things are going to be ended. And it's going to hurt sometimes. And people are going to be sad they didn't get that piece. But it has to be done. That's where we are. And that's what December is. December is that chipping away at that last piece, and down to those last days. And before it's even gone, people are already making promises and commitments, and telling themselves what they're going to do into the next year. Yet they haven't even gotten into the next year's energy. Yet you haven't finished this. Finish this. Be the one courageous enough to grab onto that, tell the truth, speak the truth, say, I was just damn hungry. I wanted to finish it. I loved it so much. I wanted to finish it up. I loved myself so much that I really, truly wanted to make sure that I resolved this. I cared about my family so much that I wanted to clear the air of the past. And I needed to clear out all of the stories within myself so that I could love my family even more. I wanted to be a part of I wanted to be a part of something so bad, but yet I kept pulling myself away from everything. And I kept telling myself all of these lies that are illusions that keep us farther away from love, peace, happiness, coming together, community, you know, unity, all of those things, because all of this was trapped over here. And if I have the courage to be the one who just says, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do this so that it is now gone, it's over, and we can now move forward. We can begin a new journey. Your dreams, your life, your everything is in the new pie. It's in the pies over here that are waiting to be devoured, waiting to be enjoyed, waiting to be, to discover if you even like it. If it's something for you, it's probably not even going to be the same flavor as the pie you ate over here, but it's there. And then back to the animal. Like the animal is in survival mode. It's outside, it's in the winter. It knows that it's life depends on it hunting and being the hunter and not being the hunted. It realizes it's always being hunted, but it's got to keep remembering that it also has to hunt, right? And so there's so many visions that they're giving me, and not all animals can make it through those winter months because it requires having to gain strength and be prepared for the season that will come. And so the season that will come is not going to be the easiest season, but it's the one that takes us back into a good season. And you have to walk through sometimes. And that's where we can't be afraid that we're going to meet the challenges. We're going to meet the obstacles. We're going to have to stand in areas and in places where we're standing in the fire, where we're standing in, making great choices that feel shitty because the world don't agree with it or others don't agree with it. But you just know the end result. You just know the end result. You know that what you did was not to hurt anyone. What you did was so that you stop hurting yourself, and the hurt you hurts others. And when we can bring that clarity into our lives, when we can bring that change into our lives, when we can see things from that way, life begins to evolve. And there is a beautiful shining star moment that's waiting for us here. And this is where we begin to give birth to something new. It is where we start to step into something new and totally new. This is like the evolution. This is where the endings and the beginnings happen. And when you work with the likes of the divine, when you work with the likes of the with Jesus energy, there was an ending, but what rises was the truest, most pure, most authentic version. And so what's waiting to arise in you is the truest, most healthiest, most authentic version of you. It is that which transcends it all. It's that which ascends into a new a new way of being, a new life. And so when love lights us up, when we become illuminous, when we learn to live in connection to the spirit, listening to our soul, listening to the heart, we ask ourselves, what is it that I truly want? What is it that I truly need? And not one of us can live a life void of love. We need love and we need light. And all of that, we wouldn't know how great that is if we didn't know darkness. We wouldn't know how great love is if we had not known pain and darkness. We wouldn't know somebody great stepping into our lives if we had not known an experience that wasn't great. If we had not seen the ugly in somebody else, we would not recognize that we have our own ugly inside of ourselves. So instead of so much judgment towards the ugly in others, look in the mirror and see the ugly that we have within ourselves. And you may not project it out to the world, but you may project it onto those that you love. And if you're projecting onto those that you love, then you are always voiding your life of the opportunity to be loved, because the guilt and shame that you carry on the other side of that are the things that keep you from living your truest, most loving being of self. We are at a pivotal point. where life is about to change again. 2024 is going to be a big year. I will have that one out as well. In the meantime, you can go to all of the zodiac months. Yeah, all of your sun sign videos are up. Go listen to them and listen to it as your ascendant or your moon, whichever one. All three of them may combine a big story for you. They may carry a lot of truth. Those videos are up. If you love those videos, please subscribe, because there is the 2024 whole month in review, or the whole prediction of that year, the forecast energy for 2024, and that will also be released. If you want to do a check into 2000 and what 2023 was, go back and listen to 2023. Go back and listen to your zodiac forecast reading from last year. Check it out. Go back into it and then come back in again. This is where healing begins. This is where we separate from the old so that we can separate into the new. It is like healing. If we stay in the wound, if we stay always trying to add something more to the wound doesn't heal. And sometimes we have to let things dry up. Sometimes we have to let things go. And so I'm going to move over to my cards here and just go to those for just a moment for you and show you what I'm bringing up here. So I am bringing up the Pleiadians. I love my Pleiadians, and I am channeling through a lot of energy today. There's a lot of things, a lot of people on the other side that's speaking to me today. And so when we look at our self in healing, is sometimes we got to separate from the hurt self and look at it from the outside. As someone who practices, who is a who is certified, in past life healing, is that we don't walk into the pain. We walk in as an observer, and we look in and we see the person who was in the situation, because the past is not here. The past is like dead energy. And so we look into that energy. We look into where we have been, and we focus on, what we want to extract from that for helping us live our truest, most beautiful life. How we want to clear the air on the past, because the past is always highlighted, but it only highlights and focuses the area of where you put your gaze, or how you've seen it in the age you were, and what you experienced of it from the person you were at the time. But if you were to see your life from who you are now, from who you are right now, what are you seeing? So one of the stories that I used to always tell myself was, I'm a number two child, right? I'm the second child. I'm the forgotten child. It was an illusion. It was an illusion of a story that gave me the rite of passage to separate myself from family, from people. It was never that I was number two. We, as children, we have different needs. As parents who were young themselves and young brains and never been parents, they're trying to do what they can to assist and help. And when I could see the number two child you know, standing with her brother, standing with the people in her life, I could see me. All I wanted from my brother was, I wanted him to like me. I wanted him to love me. And then I realized I spent a lot of years of my life chasing being liked and being loved. And so too kind, too nice comes in. And then I seen his struggles. And when I could see everything, I could see how his life was different from me. And we both would have struggles. We both had different stories. You all have different stories. One is not less and one is not more. It's life. If we see it as we are all humans and we're all doing the best that we can, we find out that we're much more alike than we are different. And when we start to become more alike than we are different, we have common ground, we have commonality, and we stop living trying to be divided, and we start to come together. It helps us in releasing other people from holding them hostage to your stories. It helps us to release the old energy. It helps us to release the old versions of ourselves so that we can emotionally mature, emotional intelligence, emotional growth, self actualization. You realize so much about yourself, that we are so much more alike. So when we think we're the misfits, we're odd, we're weird, we're out of sorts, we have a lot more like us than we have that is different. right? And so this is where this card comes, and we focus on we are all human. And because we're all human, then we all have this, we all are exposed to all of the same things. And we all have the, disease of the mind, the disease energy. We all have the negative energy. We have imbalances. We have hostilities. We have war that's happening within ourselves. We have it all. And it's all existing. How do we clear some of this? Is recognizing that we can't clear and we can't change the minds of others, and we can't change the beliefs of others. And if we want everyone to just make us comfortable and make us feel like, oh well, you have to like what I like, you have to be what I like, so you have to be unhappy and miserable in yourself to accept what I want because you have to create my comfort. That's selfish, and that's the self-centeredness that I'm speaking of. Instead, it is your job to be that and to see that we all have similarities, but we all have an authenticity about us that makes us to be a part of the unity of this world. That's our why. Our why is hidden. Our divine destiny is hidden in becoming a part of the world, not running from the world. And we discover where we belong within that space. And we do the healing work to heal the illusions, to the veils of illusions that stand over us. And we start to step into the laws of success, the laws of growth. How do we grow? How do we evolve? If we're forever in the hamster wheel, we're going to be letting off energy, but we're not going to be going nowhere. And it's time to release, get out of the hamster wheel. It's time to finish the last quarter of the pie, so we can stop looking at the pie that was like, oh, I love this pie, it was so good, or I feel so guilty that I ate this pie. Once it's gone, it's gone. And the shame is gone, the guilt is gone. Now it's over. And if it's over, we have to let it go. And so this also, when you do your healing work and you eradicate and you can evolve the story, if you evolve the story, you eradicate that old story, you release that old story. Now you got the opportunity to return to love, to heal those relationships, to grow in those relationships, to be in relationship with each other. So the power of the minds and the thoughts within the minds, all of these things are coming up for us in December, and honoring it, and honoring this within ourselves, to be to become the part of evolution, to evolve, right? Change your perspective. We have evolution here. We have a nine. The power of threes amplified. In I always say truths have, you want your side, the other side, and then the truth beyond the veil. And so in my second book, My Truth of Existing Beyond Reflection, was realizing that even some of my truths weren't whole truths. The truths that we held tight to, that we thought were the stories, were people were telling stories, and we were a part of those stories, and we became a part of those stories. And when you sit in the silence with the divine, when you sit with wisdom, when you learn to listen and you observe and you gain a new perspective, you recognize that, some of those half-assed truths are not your truths moving forward. So, I'm not the number two child. I was never a forgotten child. I had love, I had all of those things, but I had hurts, and I had felt neglected, and I had felt betrayed, and I had felt abandoned. And those feelings were real. They were real to the little girl. They were real to the adult, and they were real to my hurt little heart. But it wasn't anyone's job when I looked in the mirror and seen an adult. It was my job to heal them instead of keep trying to exist from them. It was evolution. It was the evolving. And it's the same with the story of Jesus. If we live with only seeing the man on the cross, and we shame everyone about the man on the cross, is that we can't see the man who rose again. Can't see that growth, that we can be more from the self that rises again in a new experience. And what we learned in that last little piece, what we learned through surviving the harshest of times and the hardest of moments, that is the stories that can help others to see life in a different way, so that they can also grow and evolve. They can come through these portal doors. And we have a crucial portal energy on the 12th. We have a 12-12 coming up. That one's a big moment, a big time. That is a beginning of a change. The new moon matters. We have winter solstice coming. There is so many things that are happening in this month that is telling us that it is time for us to start making conscious choices to be awake and aware to our words, to our thoughts, to our actions, to our beliefs. And that is, our relationships matter, and our relationship with ourselves is that one. This is a time of great transformation. It is created to be a time of transformation. You want miracles, miracles require action. You want changes in your life. If you want someone else to change to make you feel better, if they change, you're still not going to feel better. It's you have to be the change within yourself so that you can feel your truths. You can feel what matters, and you can feel the importance, because you'll still be swimming around in your swamp. If you keep trying to, not let, and even let your children feel, oh, I don't want them to feel. I'd rather for them to, to be to have to not have to experience that, then you're denying them the opportunity to grow, to evolve. And that makes you an imposter. It turns them into an imposter. It is time to not to be an imposter to ourselves. Here's that last quarter mile. So these are my cards. And so we feel depleted. We feel tired. We feel like we're missing something. We feel like we're chasing the world. And if you spend the rest, 2024 is not going to be about chasing. It's going to be stopping, pausing, and attracting in, removing the mask and the illusions of half-assed truth, and moving forward. My truth of existing beyond reflection is there's this, that, and then there's a truth. And then we have the timeless treasure, and here's that last quarter mile. And like I said, we get those minutes away from finally having an ending, so that a new beginning. And this is where sometimes we get stuck, and we stay stuck there. And if we let that little piece of pie stay, it's just going to rot and fade. And then we got to begin again anyway. And so you're going to be tempted to want to redo something. You're going to be tempted to stay in the same stories. You're going to find yourself falling back into addictive behaviors and patterns, all unhealthy relationships, if you don't finish up the pie. So finish up the damn pie, finish it, get it gone, and begin again. And then we have beautiful transformation, Amira. She's holding her world in her hands. And I felt the call to bring in my little crystal ball today, and so that you can see this clarity, to bring in the heart, and to bring in love into here, and clear thought, clear intentions coming in. And so beautiful Amira is standing in the waters. She's got all the elements, she's holding it, but underneath that water is the earth. She's standing on the ground, so she can be grounded in her emotions. She can have that emotional response. She can be in her emotions, but she can be in those emotions, and recognizing that this is helping me to expand out my emotional intelligence. So I learn about a whole new outer ring of emotions, to learn to speak about what it is I really feel, what it is I really want. Am I sad? Am I angry? Or do I feel let down? Do I feel like I have been, betrayed? Do I feel like I have been, you know, do I feel like I have been um, unheard, unseen, whatever that may be? But who's not seeing me? Who's not seeing you? Sometimes you can't see you, and you can't see your own behaviors. You can't see those things, and it's time to see it all. And she's holding her world in her hands, and it requires her to then have the courage to step up that rock, right? The divine source, creator, whatever you want to call it, sun, moon, stars, God is the rock. And so there's something greater than us, but it also exists within us. And that is called our faith. Have the faith within ourselves to know that we have what it takes to go the distance. And we're in that last quarter. We're coming down to those last few weeks, will be that last little piece of the pie. Don't be afraid to see the world. Don't be afraid to see other perspectives and other views, so that you can evolve that sense of your own perspective. And so those are the Everyday Goddess cards. I don't know where the box is for those right now, but right here. So this is my Everyday Goddess Oracle cards. Right here, and they come with a great big book, a 5x7 book. And then this one is also the original Palladium Wisdom Oracle cards, which are absolutely beautiful as well. So just want to share those. And before I bring you back over here. So that's the message. That's what I've been channeling through. Um, this is our journey. I can't wait to do the 2024 to see what that brings in. Keep watching, hit the notification button so that you get notifications of when that one will release. There is a whole playlist of every single zodiac sign's forecast reading. You can also purchase. There's only a limited number, and I believe there's only a few left of the forecast readings to get your own customized forecast energy reading for 2024. There is only a few left. I only do so many. And so and then I stop it, and then when I got time I'll release it again, um I don't like to get too far ahead. I don't like to build up too much work. I like to just like know that I got these to do, and then I move on to the next ones. I don't like to leave people waiting for too long, so I don't overextend myself. um so if you don't get this time, keep watching. We'll release when there is more available. But also, you can purchase my cards if you're looking for that perfect Christmas gift for a friend, a sister who just, truly ready to look into the sense of moving from shadow to truth, from attitude to inspiration. Those are the cards for you, and you can purchase them directly on the website. And also, my two books, More Than Existing is the first book, and it's the revised version. So if you're on Amazon looking for the book, go into the category of books. For some reason, there is a big glitch, and the old book, which is not even with me no more, and for some reason, the printer is still selling the hard copy of the book. That's the old version. It's a great version, but it's just really, they have it really overpriced. Go into books and make sure it's got my name underneath, that you're purchasing it as published from, as coming from me. Um, and so it will have a white cover on it, but that's More Than Existing. It's the revised version. And then My Truth of Existing Beyond Reflection. They're both available there, or you can go directly to the website and you can get right into the link directly there as well. I am taking a few more one-on-one sessions in December and the beginning of January, as I've just discovered that I will be having back surgery closer to the end of January. So I'm opening up my schedule a little bit as well. So all of those things happening in December. Have a beautiful month of December and a beautiful Christmas. Thank you so much. Much love to you all. Bye bye.